Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the recommended WordPress settings that you should set for your website when you're first starting out. And you definitely do not want to skip this section because there are a few WordPress settings that are very important to set so that your blog is set up for success from the get-go. So let's get right into it. Hey, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jake Full, and I built a six-figure blogging business all on the side while I was working my 9-to-5 job. And I was able to quit my job and go full-time as an entrepreneur, doing what I love every single day. And I want to teach you exactly how to do the same. And so if that sounds interesting, make sure to click the link in the description below and sign up for my free 30-minute blogging masterclass. It's an entire overview of blogging and affiliate marketing and how easy it is to get your own website started, create a brand online, and start generating passive income every single month. Because I have built entire website templates in a box that you can import in less than 1 minute. And then I also have over 400 individual website templates that you can mix and match however you would like to create pages and blog posts 10 times faster than anybody else out there. And so make sure to click that link in the description below and get signed up for the free training. And let's get back to the video. And so here I am logged into my site's WordPress dashboard. And on the left-hand side here, you'll see that there is a settings option. And so when I hover over settings here, I'm gonna go and click on the general settings here. And so here's the page showing the general WordPress settings for your site. And so you can see there are several things here. For example, here's the site title. And since I'm going down the personal branding route, I just set that to my first and last name here. And that might already be filled in if that's what you called your website. And then your tagline here, this is something that shows up on Google when someone searches for your website after your website's name. And so here's an example. If I Google Start Blogging 101 and I scroll down here, you can see that I have my site title, which is Start Blogging 101, and then there's a dash, and then it says WordPress without page builders. And so that is my site tagline that shows up there. And so back on the WordPress dashboard here, that is what you will want to fill in for the tagline for your website. And since Ethan Blackwell is an outdoorsy kind of guy, I'm gonna fill in a tagline here. And so you can see I filled in my tagline here. It says Discover, Explore, Inspire. And I actually got that tagline using AI. And so you can actually use AI to help you come up with the tagline for your website if you don't know what to put in there. One really important thing is in your WordPress address and your site address, make sure that it has HTTPS in the beginning of both of these. Now, in this case, mine already had that and yours might as well, but it might just have HTTP. So if it does, make sure to just change that to HTTPS and then make sure you have your URLs in there. For the admin email address, this should have been filled in from when you set up your admin email, when you signed up for web hosting. So that's filled in there. And then if we scroll down a little bit here, the one thing we are going to change is the time zone. And so you can see that it's currently set to just universal time, but I'm going to change that to match the time zone that I'm in. So if I click on this drop down here, and if I scroll way up here, you can see that it says America here, and Chicago's a pretty close city and in the same time zone as I am. So I'm going to scroll down here, and here is Chicago, so I'm going to choose that. So now the time zone is set correctly for your WordPress website. And then if you want to change these date formats, I like the default since I'm in America, but if you want to use a different date format, you can, and a different time format, but I'm going to leave those as the default, and then I'm going to click Save Changes down here. All right, great. So our general settings are now saved, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see underneath general, there is writing. We don't actually need to change anything for that, so I'm going to skip that. The next one is reading, and we are going to change something for that, so choose your reading settings. All right, so here are your reading settings, and this is pretty basic, but it does actually have a pretty powerful effect on your website. And so you can see here it says your homepage displays, and then there are two options. You can either show all of your latest blog posts, or you can show a static page. And since we're using Start Blogging themes and we have an entire pre-designed homepage, I would highly recommend leaving the homepage set as the homepage here. But if you're just getting your site started and you want to show your visitors a coming soon page, that's why we built a coming soon page. So you can actually click on this and you can have your homepage be your coming soon page. And if you chose that and then saved, you could then go into the coming soon page and fill out all the information that you want users to see. And then once you're ready to launch your website, all you would do is you would come back into this page in the reading settings and you change from the coming soon page back to the home page. And then when you saved your settings, that would then update your site to now show your home page and your site would be live. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna leave it set as the home page. And then this is very important. The post page should be deselected. And you'll know it's deselected if you click on the drop down here. The select option at the very top means that it's deselected. Now, if you already had a pre-existing website and you imported in Start Blogging themes on your website, many times you might see that your blog page does not look the way that it should. And the reason for that is because the blog page is most likely chosen here. And so I'm actually just gonna show you that you do not want this chosen. So I'm gonna choose blog here, and then I'm gonna save my changes. And now if I come up here and hover over my site name and click visit site, and over here in the menu, I'm gonna click on my blog page, you can see that this is all messed up and it does not look like the blog page that we have pre-designed. And that's because when you choose what you want your blog page to be, if you choose an actual page, it will override that template and it will show just the default WordPress template, which is something else that you need to change. So we do not want the blog page chosen there. So I'm actually gonna go back to the dashboard by clicking this WordPress icon. I'm gonna go back into the reading settings. So I'm gonna go under settings and reading here, and I'm gonna deselect the post page. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna choose the select option again. So it's deselected, and I'm gonna save changes. And now if I come up here and visit the site one more time and I go over to the blog page, you can see that it is now showing the really nice pre-designed blog page that we have built with the Start Blogging theme that has the hero section and it has all of your articles listed out here in a really nice fashion. So for your settings, just make sure that you have a static page and your home page is set to your home page or your coming soon page if you want to show a coming soon page when you're just getting started. The post page is deselected. And then where it says blog pages show at most and the syndication feeds, I'm gonna change this from 10 to 9 for both of these. And you most likely will never use this. That blog pages option right here is actually referring to that template that I showed you when we set the post pages to the blog page. It would normally show 10 options there. And so if you do ever use that for whatever reason, like I said, you most likely never will, it will actually show in a 3-column grid. And so I like setting it to 9 so that there's a nice 3x3 grid rather than a 10th option on the 4th row there. And then for each post in a feed, this again refers to the syndication feed. You most likely won't use this, but I'm just gonna change it to excerpt in case you ever do. So I'm gonna choose excerpt there. And then this is very, very important. This should never be checked. And so just make sure that this option is not checked, because if it is checked, it will actually discourage Google from indexing your site and nobody will be able to find you on Google. So make sure that's unchecked. And then we have all of the reading settings set. And so I'm gonna save changes. The next option under reading is discussion. So I'm gonna choose that. All right, so here are your discussion settings, and these all have to do with blog comments on your WordPress website. Now, it's a pretty big debate. Depending on who you ask, many people say you should have comments enabled, and many people say you should not have comments enabled. Me personally, I like having comments enabled because I get a lot of really great comments from people. It's a way to connect to people. It's a way for people to leave feedback. It's a way for people to show their appreciation for my blog posts. And so if you do want to keep comments enabled on your website, it is this third box here that says allow people to submit comments on new posts. And one of the biggest arguments against having WordPress comments enabled on your website is many people complain about the spam. And I will say that you are probably going to get 90 to 95% spam comments in your WordPress website. But don't worry, because we are actually going to install a plugin called Akismet, which helps prevent spam comments coming onto your WordPress website, and it automatically takes all of those comments and puts them in the spam folder so that you never need to deal with it. And if some point comments get too overwhelming and you don't want to use them anymore, it's as simple as coming in here and deselecting the box to allow new comments. So since I'm leaving the comments enabled on my WordPress website, we're going to come down to the other comment settings here and make sure that the option is checked so that the comment author must fill out their name and email. I would leave the option unchecked that users must be registered and logged into comment. And then we're going to leave these two options checked, which say show comments cookies opt-in checkbox, and then also to enable threaded comments 5 levels deep. And then one thing I would change is it says comments should be displayed with the newer comments at the top of the page. So I changed that from older to newer so that we show all of the newest comments at the very top. And then it says email me whenever anyone posts a comment. I'm actually going to deselect that And I'm just going to leave that when a comment is held in moderation. And that's because of the next section here, which says before a comment appears, comment must be manually approved. So I'm actually going to check that option. And then I'm actually going to deselect the comment author must have a previously approved comment. And this is all just your preference. This is what I like having. So before a comment appears, the comment must be manually approved by me just to make sure that it's actually legit and that it's something that's worthwhile to the discussion. And then I'll get an email whenever that comment is held for moderation. All right, so that all looks good. So I'm gonna scroll down here and then you'll also see an avatar section. I would show avatars, that should be selected, but just make sure that show avatars is selected. The maximum rating, I would just leave set to G. And then the default avatar, this just means that if somebody does not have a gravatar set up, and gravatar stands for globally recognized avatar, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a later video. But if somebody does not have a gravatar set up, this is the default image that is going to show for them. So I'm just going to leave it as the blank mystery person. But if you want to change it to something else here, you're more than welcome to. And so that's everything for the discussion settings. I'm going to click Save Changes. All right, so the next option underneath discussion is media. We are not going to be changing anything for that, so you can skip that. And then we need to go to permalinks because this is probably the most important setting to set. So choose the permalink option here. And so WordPress by default, for some reason, they have a really poor permalink structure. And so many times you'll see it set to this plain or sometimes the day and time. And what this means is that when you post a blog post, it's going to be yourdomain.com. And then in this case, it's going to have a slash and then have the year and then have a slash and then show the month and the day and then your blog post name. And that is just not Google friendly at all. And so we want to change our permalink structure to something that is very Google friendly from the onset. And so what I would recommend is choosing post name here. So I'm going to click that and then I'm going to save my changes. And so what that's going to do is set it to a very Google friendly permalink structure. So now whatever the blog post name is, it's just going to be yourdomain.com/the blog post name. And the rest of this is good to go. But this is very, very important to set at the beginning because if you have a different permalink structure and your blog posts start getting indexed and then you go and change it, it's actually going to break all of your links and you're going to have to set up a bunch of redirects, which is just going to be a complete mess. So make sure that you have post name set here and save your changes. And the very last thing I'm going to really quickly go over is the privacy settings. So I'm going to come down here and choose privacy. And this is a nice simple page that WordPress sets up. And it's just wondering what your privacy policy page is. And so your privacy policy page should be chosen here, but if it's not, just come in here and choose privacy policy and click use this page. And so those are all the recommended WordPress settings to get your blog set up for success from the get-go. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.